So Tego, let me slightly introduce you first to this, and then you will let me know if you are familiar. So okay, let me give you some introduction about how the student's brain works, or the normal human brain works. Um, so to be able to achieve in any subject, you need to build something called brain chunks. Okay, and then this brain chunks only is built when you start to practice something frequently on long periods of time. So if you are doing math, if you are solving exercises every day, then your brain will start to build chunks for solving that kind of math problems, and then you will start
Okay.
to have the expertise uh, in solving these math problems. Of course, that comes over time. So you cannot become a master in solving math problems in one night before the exam. You need to
Yes.
start practicing that every day. Okay, and you start to build brain chunks by solving math problems or examples or exercises, but by not reading the solutions by your eye. So if you don't practice, you don't gain that chunks, you don't gain that expertise. Reading problems with a solution does not help you. It actually fake your brain to think that you are knowledgeable. Okay, so that's one thing. Physical exercise have been well known to improve your brain ability to build chunks and to build expertise and understanding of any material that you study. Okay, having emotional stability is a very great for your brain. It means that when you are angry, when you are upset, when you are sad, this bring your creativity totally down. Okay,
Okay.
so that's very important, especially at the time of exams. Uh, you need to. So your brain have. So I'm just going fast through this. Your brain have two modes of thinking: focus mode and diffuse mode. So on the focus mode, that is actually the condition of your brain when you are solving a problem, a math problem, a programming problem. Okay, diffuse mode when you are so relaxed. So Tego, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so your diffuse mode is when your brain is in a completely relaxed situation. When you are taking shower, uh, when you are enjoying a scenery at a garden. Okay, so although your mode of the brain is called diffuse mode, but actually your brain is working, and that is the mode where most smart people use to solve problems or to find solution for things that uh, they don't know how to do. But that's not actually done by your focused brain. It's done by your the back end brain. So that is the brain that you cannot control. Okay,
Okay.
so um, that's why smart people use that diffuse mode in the exams. So how can they do that? They do that by starting to read the exam questions at at first, at the start, before they start solving any problem. So when they do that, they allow the diffuse mode to work. Okay, so when you are solving something, when you start solving the first question, then your brain already have seen the remaining of the questions, and then he start to help you to solve that later. So the ideas will keep start rushing to your brain about how other questions need to be solved or can be even solved. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So yeah, that's one of the things. So one last tip for you before exams, you should um, you should always sleep early, no matter how much you study hard and you prepare hard. If you don't sleep well before the exam, then you are gone. You cannot solve one in the exam. So okay,
Okay.
um, actually, uh, programming. If I hear that you are interested in programming in general, so programming have actually a good future, okay, but it have a dark side. It needs you always to study a lot, okay, because the technology is ever changing. The languages that have been used for programming in the last 20 years are already gone. Nobody is using it now. So languages can, so can you imagine yourself, you master a Python and then you become expert, you're writing software, and in 6 or 7 years, it might be gone. I'm not talking about Python specifically in this case. I'm just giving you an example. So if you
Yes.
search Visual Basic 6, you can search for it. Maybe you will find jobs maybe in maybe 10 years ago, okay? And then now nobody is searching for Visual Basic 6 programmers anymore. So what I want to tell you that the technology is evolving very fast. And
Okay.
what you know now, um, you might not need to know in 6 or 7 or 8 years. So I want you to have a look at the future. So yes, I definitely like programming and I enjoy it, and I will teach my children to do programming, but with caution, because I don't want you to reach. So now you're able to catch things very fast. You are able to learn new technologies in maybe 1 month or 2 months, and you're able to keep going. But when you reach 40 and above 40, that will become challenging a bit. So I want
Okay.
you to think about that in the future. So I would recommend you to go to the uh, programming or in computer science if you have a leadership skills, because once you approach 40 years old, then I would like you to start going into the management of software projects, like you become a product manager or even become a project manager. So
Okay.
that two things you can still work in the software industry, but you don't have to rely too much about your ability to learn new languages, programming languages that come in space. You just need to be aware of it. You don't need to exhaust your mind in programming, because once you approach 45 and above, your ability to program will not become the same like newcomers who have still
Okay.
fresh
Yeah.
brains. Okay, so you need to think about it now, and you need to think about it when you are getting older. Okay, because
Okay.
at our age, there was no Python. As Java was still starting. Okay, so all what you are seeing now, there was nothing like that 25 years ago. So nobody advised us that this will ever happen. Okay, so because I'm seeing it now, so I'm able to advise you. Okay, now let's have a look. Let's go out from here, and then let me check with you. Again, I was not prepared that you are aware of programming language, but let's have a look here first. So do you know what it means, a low level programming language?
Yes, I think so.
So okay, what is assembly then?
I think it's the code behind the high level programming languages that we use, that the computer uses instead of humans.
Yes, it's kind of correct. Yes, it's true. So yes, so previously, again, as I said, maybe 30 years ago, and even before that, there was no high level programming languages, and what you see now, it was not there at all. So it would the only programming language that was available is either the machine code, okay, and that is cryptic, a kind of cryptic numbers that the people use to build programs, and assembly language. So if you can imagine here, if we want to perform this kind of addition uh, line that we have in here. So if you have something stored in the variable first, and we have something stored in the variable second, and we have some integer value stored in the variable third, and we want to add these three numbers and store the result in a variable called total. So if we want to achieve that in a low level programming language, then you will be start doing something like this code. Have you seen that before?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
So that is actually the code that is going to need to be executed. So you need to load first into the memory the content of the first variable, and then you need to add to what you loaded the content of the second variable, and then you need to add the third variable here to what have been added before, and store the result into total, into the address of total. Okay. And here he defined whatever inside each variable. Okay. So that's slightly complicated, and even if you start to try to write longer programs, you will face difficulty because you see how many lines we needed to do just to add three numbers, while we can just do it in one, in a high level language, just in one line.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so you got the picture here.
Yes.
Okay, so actually you're going to study assembly language. If you ever studied AS and A level, then you will start studying actually assembly language, and you will start seeing that kind of things, not in details, but they just give you an idea about what was working before. So so is it assembly language is still used? Yes, because of two things. So simply in the industry, yes, you will find softwares that have been written long time ago that need to be maintained, and also some of the software solutions need to be still wrote in assembly language. That is
Okay.
things that is used with controlling the hardware. They call that embedded systems. Okay, so that will be hardware boards that can be used in mission critical applications, or even you can start seeing that on TV now, or even washing machines, or even coffee makers, intelligent coffee makers. Okay, so because of the limitation of the space, or they want to run things faster, so they start to write in a low level language like assembly. Okay. Okay, so let me move on here. Okay, so I think you're more aware of high-level languages like Java, Python, and Visual Basic, right? Do you know Java?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Um,
I don't know the
unfortunately,
language. I just know
you
that
know that
it
it
exists.
exists. Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, we have a choice now. If I think maybe we need to do that. So please, I would say close now, and then use a sim link to join again, so that we have a slightly longer session. Okay, can you do that?
Okay. Yes.